And he just went in, but it cut off on the printing, so I'm not going to read it. Aaron, thank you for your thoroughly informed opinion and wisdom as usual. I'm also an avid reader of Jack Donovan. Oh, good old Jack. Yep, we like Jack. And have read and very strongly resonate with The Way of Men. An absolute must-read book. One thing I find very interesting is that you and Donovan both approach the issue of starting a tribe in similar manners. When asked, Jack Donovan says he doesn't actually know how to start a tribe, only that having one is an important part of being a man. But correct me if I'm wrong, you both take to the internet and make what can resemble a tribe digitally. You could call it a digital tribe, but you can't even call it a tribe, because a tribe the primary purpose of a tribe is to have multiple people covering your six and you doing the same. Is to form a network so that you could survive in whatever current physical environment you're in. So a digital tribe is academic and theoretical. Because, yeah, my digital tribe is over the internet. And how do I meet up with my digital tribe? Well, typically, I got to drive my ass 1,200 miles to go see that one person over there because he or she doesn't have the money, funds, or time, the money, time, or freedom to come and visit. Now, some people do. Of course, Glorious Carl. We got Jay. Who else has visited? Who's come through? Had some people fly out to Vegas. Some people do make it. But by and large, and this is not really necessarily besmirching these people. You know, how dare you have a job and a career and be a hardworking, mother or father supporting your family. But a tribe you need locally, and then when you go local, it's almost impossible. Because like I said, I was looking into forming literally a tribe, but a militia. And not the freaky, mullet-wearing moron who just wants to carry his freaking gun. I was like, no, we're going to train, and we're going to meet here, so if there's, and not even necessarily, if the communists come over and take over, it's not even that. It's like, oh, yeah, like, if the shit hits the fan, or there's not even necessarily a tornado, but some major economic collapse, something where, we need, the cops aren't coming for a while. We need guns, safety, and some order in law. And so I thought, get maybe, a platoon size of men. And, forget it. You can't even, like I said, you can't even get people locally to have a beer. You can't get people to go have fun. Now, you think you're going to get people to show up and, hey, here's how you shoot this gun. Here's how you clean your rifle. Here's how you field dress a deer. Here's how you shoot a deer. Hey, we're going to go run for a 3-mile run now. This is how, basically Boy Scouts, that's kind of what it is, like a survival, like, hey, all right, if something bad happens, we got to, maybe more a survivalist crew than a militia, I guess would be a better way to describe it. But that's impossible. And like I've concluded, I will be going lone wolf. That's basically it. I'm going lone wolf, and I'm making my way out to the Missouri River. At first, this might not be seen as an issue, but when looked at more closely, we can see that digital tribes lack many of the characteristics of normal ones, and one including security. Yeah, exactly. Besides the fact that many of these digital tribe members are more serious about typing out their ideas rather than acting on them, you got it. Most of them wouldn't even be locationally close enough to either hang out with at a bar or collaborate in a similar situation to that of a nationwide collapse. Yeah, I got a great social life on the Facebook, but I have practically no social life in the Twin Cities. From what I could see, no one has described how to gather people locally to rely on in form of a tribe. I can tell you firsthand that when you are able to get a congregation of guys to form a group, as I am part of a member of a fraternity in college currently, there are too many lazy pussies to actually do anything productive or meaningful. Absolutely. Was it the Pareto rule? Or ratio? 20% of the people do all the work, the other 80% lie about. About the only tribe I think that has any form or structure would be religion, like you go to your local church. But even then, the majority of people don't go there for Jesus or salvation or Allah or Yahweh. They're going there for ulterior reasons. And if the shit hits the fan, even though that'd be a good rallying point, that's going to take a very traditional conservative church. I've thought about that, like going, because you guys know I'm flirting with religion, joining a church, and they're like, yeah, I'd like to start a gun group. We're going to go shoot guns, and that'd be kind of my quasi thing. So, like, if the shit hits the fan and I'm in Minneapolis, I hightail it to the church, because I know what's going to happen. Then everybody will be like, oh, God, what do we do?
Oh, my wife was barking orders at me all the time, and now there's no food. And she passed out because she drank bad water. Oh, wait! That Clary fella seemed like he had his head screwed on straight. He had a lot of guns, and the kids from the city are coming over here and taking her stuff. Maybe we should have Aaron in charge.
And then I'd be like, ooh, then the dark evil Aaron would come out. I'd just be Negan. I would just be Negan. Not because I want to be bad or evil, but you're like, yeah, I'm taking half, and you're going to do what I say, because if you don't do what I fucking tell you right now, we're all dead. And I'd rather have you guys enslaved but still alive than working and producing some kind of economic production, and me, of course, being the leader, than all of you guys dead and me running around like Leonardo DiCaprio in Remnant, or Reverent. From what I could see, no one has described how to gather people locally to rely on in the form of a tribe. I can tell you firsthand that when we are even able to get a congregation of guys to form a group. Oh, I'm sorry, I read that. It seems as if a number of factors, two of which include an almost global acceptance of laziness, yes, and a lack of testosterone in modern males. Maybe secondarily, but definitely laziness. Especially now that everyone just has been grown up with a computer screen in front of them and not going out and hiking. And we have been so far removed from any genuine actual threat to your life. Nobody thinks about supply chains. I drive across the United States, I'm like, it is a very fragile system how the food out here and all the way nowhere in Nebraska makes its way to the liberal parasites that live over in New York City. Which liberal parasites are you referring to in New York City, Aaron? All of them. Pretty much all New Yorkers. All it would take is, we take out that railroad track, we take out that railroad track, we take out that bridge, we take out that bridge, and soon you're choking off a good part of the eastern seaboard. They're going to definitely pay a little bit more for their loaf of bread. But that couldn't happen, Aaron. We're Americans. Everything's wonderful. We'll just print off more money. See, girls, they care and they're passionate about the poor people. And they care and they're passionate, and that is what makes the corn into bread and ships it across the landscape to New York poor people. Anyway, people just get too soft and they don't realize how quickly things can collapse. And you got these idiot, we gotta take away the guns. It's like, you short-sighted children. Both of the adult and the actual child variety. To fix this in myself, I simply don't allow myself to be lazy. Outstanding. I work out, and I eat a diet very conducive to testosterone production. Good boy, good boy. But this doesn't solve the issue of other guys being lazy pussies. No, and it won't. And I would stop trying to bang your head against it. Look, the best thing you've done right now is identified the problem, and now you've corroborated it, and I agree with you. This is a problem. But let us not try and pointlessly bang our heads to try and solve this problem. Trust me, kid, I've been down, I've tried going down meetup groups, tried to form a meetup group. I've looked into militias. Man, the militias are freaking... They're not the militias you're thinking about. Like, I got my gun, who dang? It's like, shouldn't we all go train? Shouldn't we learn like some survival? Shouldn't we get like a guy who's actually been in the army, a survivalist, and maybe put him in charge because he knows? And I got myself my new gun, 30-aught, single bolt action, Savage 111, who dang. These freaking commies, they can tell you I ain't giving up my guns. Okay, yeah, that's nice talking about guns, guys. Let's go learn how to use them tactically. Could you, like lay down covering fire, somebody flanking maneuvers, stuff like that. Should we learn that? And then you look at them, they're all morbidly obese because they've been playing too much Dungeons and Dragons. And you're like, oh yeah, you know what? Just give me my bullpup, give me my AR-15 or sniper rifle and a pistol, and I'll just go on my own. I'll see you guys later. You do a lot of talking about how there are a few red pillars we can rely on, and that we are, for fuck's sake. You do a lot of talking about how there are few red pillars we can rely on and that we have to go lone wolf. There you go. But if we can learn anything from Jack Donovan, it is that lone wolves rarely survive. Okay, what? As opposed to the sheep? Fine, I won't survive, but I'm not going to be in a concentration camp. Go back to old Clarystein, whatever my Jewish ancestor was on my grandmother's side, back in Nazi Germany. Old Aaron Clarystein would not be one of the people in the cattle cars. Old Clarystein, I'm getting to Spain. I'm going to the United States. And then everybody else ends up, sucking gas. I'm sure that none of what I've written in this email is news to you, but I just want you to know where I'm coming from. Do you think it's possible to make a not digital tribe anymore? Or are we just fucked? How much would a response to this cost? I'm not going to charge because that's a good question and it makes for good material, and then I don't have to answer the question later for asshole consulting. I save time. The best you could come up with is laying a network or foundation that if the shit hits the fan, people come to you. Like I suggested, setting up a gun club at church. I've tried meetup groups. I've tried looking into joining militias. And it's just not there. This is where, when you're younger, you think, what's leadership? What the hell is that? That sounds like bullshit. And for the most part, it is, especially in business schools when they try and teach it. But leadership becomes a vital in crises or emergencies or collapse, or where resources are limited, but more so is time. And if you don't deploy your resources wise correctly, and if above all else expeditiously, because you got sometimes seconds to make a decision, it could be the difference between life and death. And that's why I found lead. And leadership is being able, and I don't know why, but I'm really good at it, is being able to fully evaluate all the options and outcomes of different courses of actions, sometimes in seconds. Immediately identifying the critical path, which is, I hate to say, a project management term, is saying, we got to secure this, or we got to do that. A lot of this has come in repairing motorcycles or vehicles out wandering around, maybe even not really getting lost, but realize, oh crap, I'm further away from the trailhead, and oh, here comes a storm. Where there's multiple, even setting up social stuff, like, okay, we all got to transport these group of people from here to here. And inevitably what happens, what always happens, everybody tries to be the cook in the kitchen. And frankly, don't realize that I'm not necessarily the smartest one in the group, but I'm the most logical. I've done it before. And it's just best to have everyone shut the fuck up, and I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. And don't question me. Don't argue with me. Do it, and do it right fucking now. Again, why the likes of Negans, you may not like them, but you need badasses to lead an emergency crisis situation. So be that guy. Be prepared. Be ready to be a lone wolf, because that's statistically what's likely going to happen. And then the speech you give, a crisis happens and people are coming to the place that you sort of quasi-channeled them into.
We heard you got guns and you can...
like, oh, really? Yeah, I do. But let me tell you what my plan is. My plan for me, it's only for me, by the way, is I'm making it to the Missouri River. And I'm going with you or without you. And that means I'm either leading you guys or not. I am in charge, either in charge of one person or every fucking buddy. And you're going to do what I tell you, because if you don't, you're liability. You're slumming, because you really think about here, this is another thing. Lone wolves rarely survive, but what if you got a flock of retards you got to babysit and shepherd along? See, that's the other thing. I mean, maybe in the olden days when you had competent people and, or you're in a military situation, you're in war, alone means you're not around other soldiers or competent people. Today, what am I going to do? Grab a bunch of Swipple white suburbanite Twin Cities fucks? What, you think they're going to be able to hoof it 5 miles with 50 pounds of gear? Do you even think half the men in this state know how to fire a weapon, let alone load it, turn off the safety, and clean it? Do you know how many men... You got to understand how Swipple pussy, and I don't just mean white people. Swipple means stuff white people like, but it can be applied because every race is getting pussified right now out here. Do you know how many men don't know how to change the oil or change the tire of their car? There's a Liberty Mutual commercial where there's this woman, middle-aged woman with her almost full-grown adult son. He's old enough to drive. She says, "When little Bobby got a flat tire, we called Liberty Mutual, and they took care of it right away." And then they go to the East Indian kid and his white buddy friend, and obviously the car, it's got a flat, and he's on the phone with his dad. He's like, "Yes, Dad, I know what a lug wrench is." And he looks at his friend, "Is this a lug nut wrench?" And the guy's like, maybe. That's how pussified men have become, young men. They don't even know how to change a tire. They got to call AAA, or now I guess you call your insurance company? Are you fucking joking me? You don't know how to use a jack and use a lug nut wrench? I mean, I had a flat tire no more than 2 months ago, and I fixed it. Man, it was 3 months ago. No, 4 months, because I did it outside and it wasn't that cold. Must have been November. Whatever, I got a flat tire. And then immediately, the girlfriend calls AAA, and I'm like, "How long's the wait?" An hour and a half. I'm like, get the donut up. In half an hour, not only did I have us back up and ready, I had the original tire plugged and filled and back on the car. And that's rare. And in the Twin Cities, the men are not that masculine. Oh, they got MBAs and they have the project management certifications. And they got, no offense, Chad, they have their CPAs and they got their CFAs. They got all these certifications. Oh, they have the degrees. They sat through diversity training. They wear pink to football games. Ha ha ha. But they can't change a fucking tire. Now, you think a lone wolf is going to be better off with that fat, with that sloth in his, quote, tribe as he makes it off to a survival place over at the Missouri River? So, yeah, if this was the 1930s or the 1940s, sure, yeah. You'd want some people on your team. You'd want a tribe. But now you got to find, like, the elite of the elite. And I'm pretty good at that. I'm pretty good. I got some pretty cool and elite characters. There's one guy I might go join, but he wants to stay up north. I'm like, I'm not going to stay up north. Another buddy of mine thinks he's going to go further north. I'm like, do you understand winter and survival at all? He'd I'd team up with. But that's only 2 guys out of literally hundreds of otherwise conservative libertarian type of friends who claim to be masculine. And I love all of you guys, but really take a look. You work out, you diet right. How many of your young friends? I'm old. You're in your 20s. You're in your young. You may even be in your late teens. I don't know. But you're certainly half my age. What percentage of your friends can even run 3 miles, let alone bench press their own weight? Let alone have some kind of mechanical ability or even know how engines run. And I love my friends to death, but ain't not one of them. Not one of them like, yeah, you're coming with me to the Missouri River. I need you. It's more like, well, here's a gun. Hope you keep up, but I'm not turning around to save your ass. And you stand a better chance of dying of cardiac arrest because you haven't ran in 20 years than making it. Shoot, forget the Missouri River. You ain't even going to make it to the Minnesota River. You're not even going to make it to Redwood. And so you are going to be on it. That's what I think today is your most likely highest rate of success. I think that's your highest chance. So yeah, your digital tribe you're going to find intellectually online, which is good. Thank God. God bless them. But an actual tribe, maybe after a year, after all the weak die off, then there's only the strong or the people who became strong enough to survive. All right, then you might meet some fine familiars and like-minded folk who actually can form a network or form a tribe or a team. But Americans are so fat and spoiled. They're so soft. And they're not dark enough. They just don't... How many of them have the ability to kill? Huh? How many of them? How many of them have the ability to go and fight? How many of them have the ability to stab someone when they're looking at them? They don't. They don't. Not to go so dark, but, we're talking about having a tribe for post-apocalyptic survival purpose. These are the things you get. How many people could just, gut a fish? I used to know how to gut a fish. I haven't fished in a long time, but I can figure it out. Anyway, so yeah, sorry about that. It's Don't bang your head against the wall. Do your thing. You know, have fun. Find friends while you can, while they're young and they're still around. Because, man, once they get jobs and hit 30 and start having kids, it's over. It is over. And you'll just be happy to get a beer, not like, oh, God, at least I got my six covered by a bunch of in-shape gentlemen and women who are going to carry their own. We can blast our way out of anything. Nope. Learn to be sneaky. Very sneaky. Learn to be very sneaky in the woods. Want to be very sneaky. What does he do? He's sneaking in the woods. Where's Aaron? He's sneaking in the woods. Why? He wants to be sneaky. Why does he want to be sneaky? So he can avoid danger. Clary's really a weird fella. Until,
Jeez, Clary, how'd you do? Oh my God, what the fuck?
I'll just go around with some twigs on my head, jumping behind tree to tree in parks in the city. What's he do? He's being sneaky. Shh, I'm being sneaky. Why? In case the Nebraskans decide to blow up some railroad ties and some bridges, and the corn doesn't get to New York. I'm preparing for that. With twigs on your head? Yes, you're too much of a fool to understand the connection. But I can. With that lightning speed connection I was telling you about, be able to evaluate. Oh, God, better put twigs on my head because the Nebraskans might blow up a railroad bridge. Makes perfect logical sense to me. All right.